The A-League is the highest level professional men's football league in Australia and New Zealand. The A-League was established in 2004 by Football Federation Australia and is a successor to the National Soccer League. The league is currently contested by 12 teams, 11 based in Australia and 1 based in New Zealand. The Wellington Phoenix represents New Zealand in this competition and are one of the few sporting clubs in the world to compete in a league of a different co-federation from that of the country where they are based. Seasons run from October to May and include a 26-round regular season followed by a series of playoffs. The winner of the regular season is the premier and the winner of the grand final is the champion.
The A-League's total market value is $164.64 million, making it the most important actor financially in the Australia and New Zealand football industry. According to the financial report for the first half of FY20, the A-League was responsible for generating $37.2 million of the $43.9 million in revenue for the FFA. Each team has a salary cap of $3.2 million for the current 2019-2020 season. All clubs must spend at least a salary floor, which is $2.88 million. A salary cap is an agreement that places a limit on the amount of money that a team can spend on players' salaries per season. The salary cap also safeguards the economic viability of all clubs by ensuring they are not put in a position where they are forced to spend beyond their financial capabilities in order to stay competitive on the field. This keeps overall costs down, which means more focus and money can be used to increase the attraction of the competition to fans, sponsors and broadcast partners, which is necessary in the current situation to rebuild the sport due to COVID-19.
In mid-March, Football Federation Australia confirmed that the remainder of the Hyundai A-League 2019-2020 regular season would go ahead, but all matches would be played behind closed doors and with no fans permitted to attend. The decision of the Australian federal government to add mandatory quarantine for all travellers to Australia would mean the Wellington Phoenix would need to self-isolate for a period of 14 days, meaning the match involving Adelaide United and Wellington Phoenix would not proceed in rounds 24 and 25 of the A-League. A week later, both Australia and New Zealand were put into government lockdown and the Federation was ordered to put the competition on a hiatus. Clubs were asked by the Federation to request staff and players to take their annual leave to help ensure they could continue to pay full wages for as long as possible. This was only viable for 3 clubs: Sydney, Melbourne Victory and Wellington Phoenix. The other 8 clubs opted to freeze pay or make pay cuts. The Phoenix applied for and received the government wage subsidy, a total of $324,732 for 47 employees, including 22 contracted players, which eased the financial issue slightly for the club. The Federation is currently investigating how New Zealand and Australia's border closures will impact the club's import players amid fears they could be barred from re-entering the country post-lockdown. Although Australian citizens and residents who normally live in New Zealand can still enter the country and vice versa, the border closures will have serious consequences for the Wellington Phoenix import players, for example, one who is in Mexico and one who is now in England.
The Korean car manufacturer Hyundai will end its 15-year partnership with the A-League after the 2019-2020 season due to the economic consequences of COVID-19. They decided not to renew naming rights, which they've held since 2005, leaving FFA in the difficult position of searching for a new major sponsor in the midst of an economic downturn. This is set to create a further $6 million blow to the league's bottom line next season. Another deal that is rocky is the Australian broadcast deal with Fox Sports, which is worth close to $60 million a year. In mid-April, the A-League's broadcaster effectively walked away halfway through a 6-year deal when it reportedly failed to transfer a scheduled payment of nearly $12 million to FFA. In New Zealand, Sky Sport is the broadcast partner for the A-League and multiple other sporting actors and have refused to comment to the media on multiple occasions about the effects COVID-19 is having on their revenue streams. FFA CEO James Johnson released a statement, "Without the broadcast payment coming through, how we meet our salary payments as they currently stand is a huge stretch."
Another deal that is rocky is the Australian broadcast deal with Fox Sports, which is worth close to $60 million a year. In mid-April, the A-League broadcaster effectively walked away halfway through a 6-year deal when it reportedly failed to transfer a scheduled payment of nearly $12 million to FFA. In New Zealand, Sky Sport is the broadcast partner for the A-League and multiple other sporting actors, and have refused to comment to the media on multiple occasions about the effect COVID-19 is having on their revenue streams. FFA CEO James Johnson released the statement, "Without the broadcast payment coming through, how we meet our salary payments as they currently stand is a huge stretch."
I had the opportunity to interview Steve Coleman, the development phase head coach for the Wellington Phoenix Football Club, to give an insight into the implications of COVID-19 on the players. He outlined the importance of sport in general on social development, social interaction, and agile thinking, which are at a loss while training and games are halted. But the biggest implication of COVID-19 on the players as a club and for the Federation is the psychological consequences. He stated, "As a club, we have formally and informally made resources available, had direct interventions with athletes, stakeholders, staff, and families to collectively cope with such adversity. We have strategies in place to help our club better understand many topics, including emotional regulation, coping skills, resilience, mental health stigma, and well-being strategies."
Recommendation 1: Esports Football, where individual players from respective teams train and compete against each other in the Xbox PS4 game FIFA 20. Players would also commentate the games for audience engagement and entertainment. Sponsorship deals with respective brands such as FIFA and Xbox would be signed and would create revenue for the FFA based on audience attendance. Broadcast sponsors such as Fox Sports could get involved by televising this event nationally, using the platform Twitch to stream from both players' screens simultaneously. When alert levels allow, this could be televised at local bars and restaurants, and bars could do promotional drink specials to increase customers and revenue. Be offered at a small cost for a 2-hour session to fans and would include a Zoom call with a player of your choice, and you would prepare and ask questions and have live practice sessions to improve your skills. The strategy would strengthen loyal fan relationships. It also helps players re-engage with their love for the sport. New Balance sponsors Wellington Phoenix athletes and could run giveaways alongside with training gear for the attendees to use, creating brand awareness for New Balance. When alert levels allow, this could be done in person with groups of people, and athletes could travel around domestic locations offering this service. Recently, the FFA Chief Executive James Johnson stated that an agreement has been made between the Federation and all clubs that the season will recommence in early June.